The bones beneath Willow House. The purchase. When Daniel and his wife, Mara, bought the old Willow House on the outskirts of Claremont, they told everyone it was a steal. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a wraparound porch, half an acre of land. Sure, it needed some work. Most homes built in 1912 did. But Daniel was a contractor by trade. The renovation would be his biggest personal project yet, a way to prove he could turn rot into beauty. From the first day, though, he noticed the smell. It wasn't sewage or mold, something earthier, faintly sweet and metallic, like old pennies and damp wood. It lingered even after he ripped out the carpets and opened every window. When he mentioned it, Mara just said, "Old houses have old smells." But the realtor, before handing over the keys, had hesitated just a little too long. On the second week of renovations, Daniel decided to tackle the basement. It was a narrow stairwell, the kind that felt designed to keep people out. Each step creaked like a warning. His flashlight caught cobwebs strung across the doorway like gray lace. The walls were stone, rough, sweating with condensation. He began clearing old junk, furniture legs, broken jars, and boxes of mildewed newspaper clippings. That's when he found the panel. It was built into the far wall, freshwood slats set against century-old masonry. Someone had covered the seams with layers of paint. The nails were bright, not rusted, new. He pried the panel open with his crowbar. Behind it, there was a narrow cavity, a hole just large enough for one person. And inside it, curled like a child sleeping, was a body. The sheriff's department came that afternoon. Daniel and Mara watched from the porch as men in gloves carried a black bag out the door. The sheriff, a heavy man with tired eyes, told them it was probably an old vagrant, maybe decades old. The bones looked aged, the cloth disintegrated. Could have been someone hiding during the Depression, he said. You'd be surprised how often we find things like that in older homes. Daniel nodded, but the words didn't comfort him, because he knew fresh wood when he saw it. Those nails were less than a year old. That night, Mara woke Daniel up. "Do you hear that?" At first, he thought it was the house settling, but then he heard it, a soft tapping from inside the wall behind their bed. It was rhythmic, deliberate. 3 taps, a pause, 3 more. He opened the wall the next day, found nothing but insulation and dust. Still, every night, the tapping came again, always from a different wall. When he tried to follow it, it stopped. A week later, Daniel was replacing floorboards in the hallway when his saw blade hit something that didn't sound like wood. He pulled up the planks. Beneath the joists, wrapped in plastic, was another body, smaller this time, child-sized. He stumbled back, bile rising in his throat. Mara screamed when she saw it. The police came again, this time less patient. They questioned Daniel for hours, but after the forensic team examined the remains, they confirmed it. The body had been there less than 5 years. That meant someone had buried it after the previous owners left. The house had been empty for over a decade. Mara wanted to leave, but Daniel refused. He needed answers. He pored through old blueprints from the county archives, comparing them to the current layout. And that's when he noticed something odd. The house's first floor plan showed an extra room behind the kitchen, now walled off. He found the outline of a doorway under a layer of drywall. With hammer and crowbar, he tore it open. The air that came out was wrong, damp, heavy, and metallic, like something long dead. Inside was a narrow room filled with old furniture stacked to the ceiling. Dust hung like fog, and in the middle of the floor, a circle of dry, dark stains. The next morning, an old woman appeared at the fence. "You're the new owner," she said, her voice soft, trembling. "I'll leave across the field." Daniel asked if she knew anything about the house's history. Her eyes flicked to the windows. They called it Willow House because of the tree out front, but that's not what it was for. "What do you mean?" "It wasn't built as a home," she whispered. "It was built for keeping." When he pressed her, she refused to say more, only muttered, "Don't open what's been sealed." By now, Mara had moved into a hotel. Daniel stayed behind. He told her he needed to finish things. He worked late, fueled by obsession. The house seemed to shift around him. New drafts, shadows stretching too long, whispers behind the walls. One night, he noticed something strange in the basement, a patch of cement that didn't match the rest. He got his chisel and hammer. It took hours, but finally, he broke through. Underneath the cement was a wooden box, nailed shut. Inside, photographs, hundreds of them. Faces, men, women, children, each one shot in the same dimly lit basement. Some faces were serene, others terrified, and every single photo, the same faint silhouette stood in the corner, a tall man in a plague doctor's mask. That night, Daniel tried to burn the photos, but as the fire caught, the house groaned, deep, resonant, almost human. A dark stain began to spread down the walls, thick and red. It wasn't paint. He heard movement above him, heavy footsteps, dragging, circling the upstairs hallway. Then, softly from the darkness, "Why did you open the wall, Daniel?" He froze. Mara's voice, but she was miles away. He turned, and standing in the stairwell was something wearing her face, pale, smiling too wide. The next day, the sheriff found the house empty. The tools were scattered, the photos gone. The walls were freshly sealed, the floors newly nailed. Mara never saw Daniel again. She sold the house at auction. A young couple bought it, and on their first night inside, as they began peeling wallpaper in the master bedroom, they found something written underneath, scrawled in jagged, desperate letters. "Don't open the walls."